And we're live, guys. Welcome to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our live show on YouTube every month. I'm Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me tonight are my co-hosts, everyone's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
Going great. Nice to see all of you.
Good to see you. And the Wargaming Wizard from Oz in cold Austin, Texas, who has now changed out the background to a Wargame background, Kev Short on the big board. How's it going, Kev?
Hey, how are you?
Not too bad. A lot better now that we have power.
yeah, and then no frozen pipes, shit like that. It's good.
Yeah, that definitely was crazy last week. But and tonight our special guest is Rob from the big Rob's Tabletop World in War and Pieces. Rob Oren, the big guy, and he has said he's been threatening us that he's going to take over the show. And he wants to kind of flip the script on us, but I don't think he's going to take over the show. I think we're in charge, Rob, not you.
Exactly.
My little fuzzy friend.
So
I think you're in for a little bit of surprise.
What the hell just happened?
What
are you doing, dude?
How did you pull that one off?
It's called editing and magic.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
First of all, everybody, how are you? It is your old pal Rob from Rob's Tabletop World and the Mighty War and Pieces. And of course, we have our esteemed guest here, Mo, Kev, and Nate. How are you guys? Today, we're going to do something a little different. Instead of you asking all the questions, Mo, I'm going to ask all the questions. So, boy, look at all the people that we have in the chat already. John, how are you? Downriver Rick, Richard Kerr, Pete. What's up, my brother? Good to see everybody. So I'm going to start it off with a couple things here. First of all, Mo, I'm going to open it up right with you. Now, listen. Wargaming has usually been, let's face facts, GMT has pretty much been the big dog in the yard, right?
True.
You would say that.
Yeah.
But a lot of companies have really been closing the gap there, okay? Mm-hmm. Out of these three companies, which one do you think is the better out of all of them and why?
Okay.
Lock and Load, Flying Pig Games, and Compass.
That's tough. I would have to say, of those three, I would have to say Compass has really improved the most. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think they had some issues in the past. I know Kev knows about it as well as Nate, with some production issues, things like that. They've definitely improved on it, and everybody knows that GMT is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. But the way I look at Compass right now, is they're the 400-pound gorilla that's sitting on the couch there with a bag of cheeseburgers, getting fatter every day, and quickly they're going to be up to 500-600 pounds, and then they'll start chasing down that 800-pound gorilla. But they definitely are on the right track.
Kev, what do you think?
Yeah, good question. I'm a huge fanboy for Lock and Load. You know, so all the way back to when Mark Walker owned the company. So I think what David's doing online and with digital and the crossover between digital and physical is amazing. So I think he's got the most potential, but they probably struggle with scale a little bit, right? But other than that, I'd say it's probably Compass. And then our fellas, it was Flying Pigs was the other one, right?
Yeah, Flying Pigs.
Yeah, Flying Pigs just does great high quality stuff, but they're still, I would still look at them as a niche player that they're doing, cool, innovative things, trying to grow,
Nate!
I'm going to probably pair it Mo, because Lock and Load is actually the one that gave me like my start. So when I first got into it, they were the first company that reached out to me and, hey, how can we help you get going? And then they were like, hey, we'll send you a couple things. I'm like, great, that's awesome. And then these two huge boxes show up with like the entire Lock and Load tactical line in it. And the wife looked at me and she's like, yeah, this is going to start being a storage issue. I can see this already. And it was downhill from there. I always said that I thought that David did a excellent job because he reached out to people like us, and it's not just like who's putting out good word about him. He wants to touch base with everyone who's reviewing wargaming stuff, so at least they've talked to him. You know, have an impression with him, like, hey, how can I help you guys out? And I think that's great because YouTube, I think, is awesome for marketing for wargamers. So they've done great as far as that's concerned. And he's right, the digital stuff that Kevin referred to, because I've helped out a lot with that. I did the boot camp series for their digital game, Victory and Glory, recently. So like that game, although I'm not big into Civil War, so that was a little bit more of a struggle for me, but the game's good. And Compass is definitely the most improved. They have dramatically improved their quality from the time period that I've started playing war games. I can't really comment on Flying Pig because I don't think I've ever played one of their games.
Mark Walker, if you're out in the audience, do me a favor. Send Gimpy a
Yeah, it'll get played.
All right, so I'm gonna point this next one to you, Nate. All right, listen, and I'm not blowing smoke up your back ends. Listen, the 3 channels that are on here, okay, as far as Gimpy, Mo's Game Table, of course, Big Board Gaming. You're a big guy, anyways. Probably 3 of the most underrated wargaming channels out there. Okay, you know, especially over the last year, you know, with everything going on, I've had a real lot of time to take and look at each of you guys individually, and I scratch my head why these channels aren't a hell of a lot bigger. So what I want to pose to you, Nate, does it become frustrating when putting out the quality work that you have, to being a YouTuber and wondering, you know what you're not doing, or are you reaching enough people that you feel that wargaming is such a close-knit thing? Is it frustrating that you don't progress as much as you would like?
Well, I mean, you can look up the analytics, right? You can pull up your analytics and see how well you're doing.
And I don't mean that as a slight, because I think when I look at these 3 channels, I go, okay, you know, I look at my analytics and I scratch my head. You know, my point is that I really feel that you guys should be a lot bigger than you are.
Huge.
It takes a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
So you look at the analytics, and the one thing that I've noticed is mine has always been going up, right? It might take a little while, but it's been getting there. And I noticed there were moments that tipped me over the edge. The first time I was mentioned in a GMT article, the newsletter they put out, I was looking at the little analytic trend, and it just shot straight up right after that piece came out. So it helped when other people mentioned me. Like, I tried to kind of make friends a little bit with people who were a little bit bigger than me. Someone right there might be named Rob.
He's bigger than all of us combined.
Well, that's the thing. I could always track it. After I got mentioned by some of these people, I would see the bump because the subscribers came over. But I always knew I would never be huge. I never expected to have millions of people or even hundreds of thousands on the channel, and I was fine with that because the hobby that I'm doing, mainly solitaire wargaming stuff, I expanded more into miniatures recently, but solitaire wargaming is not huge to begin with. But there are enough people that are into it. So I'm wanting to cover the topics that I enjoy covering, and whoever wants to come check it out can check it out. You know, it's not going to be the country. I'm not talking about politics or food, something that everyone is going to be related to in some way, shape, or form. It's already a small hobby, and I'm covering a small niche of a small niche hobby.
Well, I'm going to say another thing here too, is I've never seen any one of you guys sell out. And what I mean by that is people go into chats and say, oh, hey, I have a board game channel, or my channel doesn't do this. Or I've never seen any of you ever sell out. You know what I mean? You do your thing.
I tried to once.
Huh?
I tried to sell out once, but it didn't work out.
Nobody bought anything.
I know. And that's why I said you just won't sell out. You know, I'll take time and I'll mention, because of the respect I have for all 3 of you, to be honest with you, and the job that you do. You guys do things a lot better than I do. Okay. I mean, I really enjoy watching a lot. Your unboxings, Mo, are ridiculous. Kevin, I can't even comprehend. First of all, I don't have the brain power to do some of the games that you do. Okay. I mean, it's amazing. And Nate,
you don't see the off-camera stuff, man. It's all good. Trust me.
All right. That's it for my niceness. Okay. Now it's time to be a total.
We can't keep up with your quantity though, dude. The amount of videos you put out in a week just blows it away. Anything that I'm trying to do.
And I think I don't want to make this about me, but I'll tell you the only thing why I make so many videos. I always believe that if you have something to say, get it on at that moment. Don't try to script it. Don't be this. Don't be that. Because people know when you're a phony 5'4", little fat, nothing. Okay, they'll figure you out.
Dude, I'm 6'1". What the hell?
Why I said
it sounds like a meatball.
I'm not talking about you guys, obviously.
Sounds like a meatball.
Yeah, exactly.
Spicy meatball.
The thing is, I try to be. I hate that word, real. I just be myself. Number one, and number two. The minute I don't have anything to say, I'm not going to be making any videos.
It does help though doing the live videos, the structure, the way you do it, because once you're done, you're done. You don't have to go back to post editing and adjust audio or video or any of that crap. So every time I record something, I've got to go back and do all that crap. So there's a lot more hours before I can actually get it to the upload point.
Yeah, Nate, I think that's part of the challenge, right? That's why I'll do one cut stuff and just do it, and it is what it is, and then that's it. And then I'll do live stuff because I can't edit it later and just be done with it. But you're doing tutorials and really you're actually helping people as opposed to me just playing a game. You're helping people learn, so it's got to be more accurate and edited and correct. So don't sell yourself short. You're a great slouch.
Well, believe it or not, I have videos filmed all the way out to March 29th.
Wow. Nice.
I do 3 taped videos a week, and then I'll fill in the rest of the week if I get something in my head. And I just try to have those 3 videos a week and then build out from there.
Right.
And I try to stay ahead of the game.
Can you send me a few of those for when the wife's in the hospital and I'll just edit my head on your body?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you are anyways at a slim, trim, lean, ripped what's that? Oh, 185. Very nice.
No.
Kevin.
So yes, sir.
Someone comes up to you with a very old and vintage bottle of whiskey.
Oh.
And says, "I will give this to you, but you need to share it with just one designer." Who would that be?
Joe Balkowski.
And why?
If it's not him, it's Frank Chadwick probably. But
Frank, good choice.
Yeah, I just went through this exercise about 4 or 5 years ago. Started really paying attention to design, more attention to designers. And every time I looked at a box of a game that I really liked, it was a Balkowski game or a Balkowski series. Great campaigns in the American Civil War, The Light Division, and all these other titles and series and things he's been involved in, and written books as well, D-Day games. And he would be a guy I would like to understand how he goes about designing his games, playing, coming up with the history, we're doing the research and all the rest of it. He seems like a very, very interesting guy. And he's a pretty tight rules writer. He just has a really crappy map artist and developer. So, over in the past, right? Because I haven't seen a game from him in a long time. Yeah.
Nate, I'm going to throw the same thing to you, but you could put, Natty Light in place.
Gotta go with the low blows. I would have to put either John Butterfield, just because I like his game designs. Like Enemy Action Ardennes is one of my favorite solo games. I just love the system he crafted for that. So well made with the counters, the chip pull for the damage. or Fabrizio and the other gentleman, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, who was involved with 1985. Tony.
Tony.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mo. 1985 Under an Iron Sky, because that one is just a work of art. I think they did an excellent job on that game. So in depth, you can tell that it was a labor of love, that it was well crafted, and they put a lot of thought into it. They didn't just try to willy-nilly a combat table and throw some dice. They really worked at that thing, and they know it. You know, that is that handcrafted board game. Really, really, really good game. And I even mentioned that when I talked about the game, that I think part of the price just came with the sheer amount of hours that they had dedicated to getting that to the table. So yeah, those would be my people.
Mo, take it home.
I'm going to keep it really short and sweet. It would be Mark Herman, for the simple fact that you get Mark drinking, he'll tell even better stories than he does when he's sober. So definitely Mark Herman. And he's
I thought that was Uva.
Uva's another great one too. If you can get both of them together, forget it. Just share that bottle out, and you can just sit back and enjoy the stories all night long.
That's great.
I like it. Let's see, because I'm throwing you softballs right now. WBC or Historicon, Mo?
WBC, because I've not been to Historicon. And I
Okay.
have been to WBC, and I liked it there. I like the format. I like the size. I like the array of wargamers there, and I like the fact that the whole vendor hall is all wargaming, and pretty much not all, but a lot of vendors are there. Not vendors. A lot of the publishers are there, and they're showing demos of their games. So you can check out stuff there that you can't elsewhere. And Historicon, I can't attest to that one if it's the same or on equal footing as that, but it is one I'd like to go to sometime. But for now, I'd say WBC.
To add a little addendum there, do you think it'll happen this year?
WBC?
Yeah.
I personally don't think any conventions will happen this year. If they do, it'll be late in the year. It'll be very small groups of people, because I think this whole thing is still going to be a mess, and travel restrictions will be in place. It'll be, people will be hesitating to travel. People are going to not want to go to conventions and have to wear masks and things like that. So I'm not really counting on anything happening this year. I could be wrong, but I'm not counting on it.
All right, I'm going to twist up the question a little bit. Nate, the same kind of thing, but what is the best convention you ever been to? Wargaming convention.
Have to be WBC, because that's the only one I have been to. Unfortunately,
that's why I twisted up.
Right as soon as I started going to conventions, I got big enough to actually go. It was right after that COVID kicked off. So there was a couple that I missed. But it seems like I went, and I met Mo there, and everyone knows Mo. Everyone knows Mo, because he was taking me around. Hey, this is so-and-so. Hey, this is so-and-so. Like, to every single person that I met. And I can actually put this out there. I am guarantee you the only guy who has a wife that's begging him to go to a wargaming convention, because she's still talking to me about it. She is begging to go. She's like, tell me they're having it this year. I really want to go. She loved the place. The kids had a great time. They had a little package deal you could get where they could ride the ski lifts and play the games and do all that cool stuff. So they had a great time. And then I got to do my thing. So she was begging me a few weeks ago. She's like, come on, tell me they're having it this year. I'm like, I don't know, honey. Well, do something about it. Put it out on your channel. Tell them they need to do it. I'm like, yeah, they're going to listen. I'll do what I can.
Kev, same question.
No idea, man. I've only gone to small cons. I haven't never been to WBC or any of that. So I've been to a couple, one in Seattle a couple of times, and then one called MonsterCon, which actually is happening in April, I think, this year.
Nice.
And that's planned. There's 40 or 20, maybe it's 20. I don't know. It's either 27 or 42. Those two numbers seem to be in my head. So yeah, I'm a small con guy. I don't like the big things. I'm not really, just a money pit for me in terms of spend.
I agree wholeheartedly, especially, I found after being to all the big cons for years now, that I find the little wargaming cons are the ones I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
but also
I
with almost the strangest people too.
Yeah, I go to play. I go to play, right? So I'm
Right.
not. I don't really film, or I don't. I'll ask if I can take pictures and stuff like that, but I won't do any sort of live streaming or anything like that, unless I'm asked to or invited to, which I haven't been. So yeah.
The great Herman Luttman, and nobody picked him. Nobody picked him as the best.
We're saving him for better questions later.
Yeah.
Is Historicon the one that's in California?
No, it's actually
Is that Pennsylvania?
It was in Pennsylvania. Then it moved. I think it was in Virginia, and then it moved back to Pennsylvania. It's been bouncing back and forth. I've been to it twice, and it's a very good wargaming con. Very unique.
Is it about the size of WBC, like the amount of people that are in attendance, you would say?
No, I would say it's smaller. It used to be one of the biggest wargaming cons. It used to be Historicon, and then I believe Origins was a strict wargaming con. Those two back in the day historically were your two biggest cons ever.
Well, I think Kev would probably be right then, that those would be more fun to go to than something like Origins, what it is now, or some of the others, because it's
Origins.
So packed.
Origins is on life support right at this moment.
Lancaster, PA,
no offense.
Where that's at.
Yeah, Lancaster. Okay, all-time greatest.
Oh, jeez.
Herman Luttman.
What was that?
Herman Luttman.
No, I'm sorry. I should have answered it correctly. Who is Herman Luttman?
Now, Kevin, I'm going to start off with you. All-time greatest D-Day game.
D-Day game. I think for monster playability, Battle for Normandy, hands down.
That's a great choice. Mo Lama Bamba.
D-Day to Omaha Beach.
Another interesting choice. Why?
I like that whole Butterfield system. It's really challenging. You really feel like you're struggling to survive and struggling to get the objectives. And I think that's a great challenge. And you can't win. It's one of, you can, but it's not one of those games where if I do this and I do this, I'm guaranteed to win. No, every time it's a struggle. And you really start getting to feel that desperation of what it's like to make an amphibious assault.
Right.
And I think that is just a really cool thing, because not only you got to get your troops ashore, but then you got to get them up the beach. Then you got to take objectives, and it's not easy. You get a better appreciation for the difficulty involved in amphibious operations, in my opinion.
Nate, clean it up.
Ditto Mo. He took my answer like words right out of my mouth. Come on, I said Butterfield earlier. That's definitely going to be my D-Day choice.
All right. I'm going to put this one to you, Nate, because you got out easy. All right. A benchmark war game that you judge all other games to.
U-Boo.
Meaning your war game that you consider your holy grail, and that you can, when you play a war game, well, it's not as good as blank.
Thunder in the East.
Thunder and the East. Well, I was just looking at that the other day. Really? Why?
Yeah. And that's strange, because for me, I'm not a big Eastern Front fan, like, at all. I like the Western Front. I just don't like the Eastern Front. Don't get me wrong. It's great for tank battles and Kursk and all the other crap. I just like the American fighting side versus the Russian fighting side, because American. But yeah, Thunder in the East, I just thought it was so well crafted. The thing they did with the supply dice, right? So you could have the yellow dice that would go on the cities, and it helped you when you were looking at it see what roughly your supply radiuses were. The fact that the units could break down, I liked how I compared the force pulls to a cash register, the change boxes, because when you were exchanging units, like you could break them down from larger sizes to smaller sizes or beef them up. that it was like a cash register that had to be square at the end of the night. So whatever you took out, you had to put back in from the board. But the force pool, it's like you were buying new stuff, so you were actually adding that to the board. I think everything that they did with that game was about streamlining the rules for a monster game to be very easy to play. And it's not a full-on like huge monster game, but for a game of its size to be as streamlined as they did, I thought they did an excellent job with it.
So it's like running a bread shop.
No.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
Sounds like a retail operation.
I talked this game up a lot, but I just think they did a really good job with it. Even the rule book was a breeze to read. Everything just clicked. Most rule books, when I'm reading them, I have to read them once and then sit down with the components and read it again. Like, okay, so that's what they meant. And finally, at some point, the brain starts to comprehend. With this, it was like, oh, ABC. It's just that easy. And roll the dice. Even the air support, and I know they're with their newest game that involves the Mediterranean that's going to be coming out. I think naval components are going to be handled a similar way. But when you brought in your air support, it just kind of changed the combat dice, or you were adding dice to the ground combat that's already going on. But it was all done with simplistic symbols on the counters, and it made it really easy to understand.
Nate, you said that they're coming out. They're coming out with the sequel. I that was by Victory Point Games. They're not doing it anymore. Who's now putting it out?
GMT.
It's gonna, GMT.
Oh, is
They're
it?
gonna be putting
GMT's taking it over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I talked to Alan about it a little bit, and he had reached out to me, and then
wow, on
we
first
kinda-
name basis. Alan.
Yeah, like that.
Want his phone number?
But I'm looking forward to this one. As much as I love the Eastern Front with the section they're going to be covering now, my only concern is the fact that it's going to be coming with a new publisher. How compatible are the components going to be? Because are they using the same counters, the same maps?
Not going to
how's
be the
it-
same map, man.
No.
Now, Nate,
So-
I'm going to do a follow up here because John asked, Nate, how many times have you played it, and or how far into Thunder in the East date wise have you played? 43? Question mark. Oh, there it is. It's right on the bottom there.
I can't remember how far
I thought I said
played.
it with better passion.
I played some off camera before I packed it up, because I ended up doing, I think, a 12 or 13 part video series on the game. But because of its size, you're covering such a huge swath of land. It's hard to do it. And I was showing everything, right? And even the combat system was so cool because it had little arrow counters you could put down to show your odds. I love that. Man, it was so great. God, I want to pull it out again. Damn it, you're killing me. I played it just a little bit longer, and that's the biggest pain of having a YouTube channel, is I can't play necessarily what I want to play. Because if I didn't have a channel to worry about, that would have just stayed on my table and I would have played through the entire campaign. But since it took up my entire table, usually I can fit a couple of war games on it. This thing took up the entire 5 foot by 6 foot table. So I couldn't leave it up as long as I wanted to, unfortunately.
Mo, same question.
I suck at these things, and I hear echo. Does anybody else hear echo?
I've been getting that a little bit here or
Okay.
there. I think it's just a little bit of internet lag.
Okay, now it's gone. Well, now it's back. But anyway, I really suck at picking top 3, top 5s, number 1s, anything like that. That's why I don't do those videos, because I find my
But it's not a
tastes will
top five,
change.
top 3, top.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying it's hard to nail it down to a Grail game for me. So I would say currently I would be between one system and, well, I guess they're both systems, World of War 85 and Next War, because World of War 85 is just a great system, and it's going to build out into a really big library. I know Kev's a big fan of it as well, and as so is Nate. And it is one of those things that you can play, and you are as well. You can play these big pitch battles fairly quickly, and you can see the wrecks all over the battlefield, and you can get a sense at how devastating modern combat is. And similar with the Next War series, just on a different level, the World of War 85 series is the popcorn version type of game like that, and Next War is more of a, I don't want to say study simulation, It's not at that level, but it's definitely a level above. A study simulation would be like less than 60 miles, things like that. That's more where you're studying that whole era and that conflict. But I think the Next War series is great because it's got that intro basic rule set that you can really dig into and have a lot of fun with.
Yeah.
And then it's got the advanced rules, which take it up 5 more notches. Just when you think, wow, this is pretty cool, and there's a good deal to wrap your head around, well, you take it up to the next level and you bring in naval and air and things like that. And that's when you start going, wow, I really screwed up on that. I committed too many air forces and now they're all splashed. Now I've got nothing for strikes, things like that. And you learn the hard way on how you have to husband those forces. And you really do get a really good appreciation at how bloody modern combat would be, how effective our platforms are at killing each other.
Big Kev, who's big at everything. Take us home.
Big at everything. Wow. Well, so I would probably agree with Mo from the World at War and maybe Lock and Load tactical. If we look at most played, I've played those games probably the most. But when lately, I've been going through this African campaign thing. So every time I play an African themed game, I compare it to DAC, and I know DAC 2 is huge and it's OCS and all the rest of it, but it's actually, you can play that thing on some of the small campaigns and the scenarios on 2 maps, which is very doable. And there's not thousands of counters like like Thunder, even Thunder in the East has hundreds and hundreds of counters and all those information counters and all the case blue and all that sort of stuff. This thing, you might have a couple hundred counters on the board and you can have a blast and play with a buddy. Well, I've been playing for 18 months with a guy once a month. We're just getting 2 or 3 turns done and we're going through the whole thing from 40 to wherever we end up. It's pretty awesome. So I would say DAC 2 as my sort of go-to. Oh my gosh, is as good as that? Or to be the modern stuff, World at War and Next War and Lock and Load tactical, stuff like that.
We did miss one. We did miss one. We did miss one, and John brought it up for us.
What's that? Kick John off the channel. That's funny. Yeah, best war game ever. War game for sure.
Exactly.
Best war game of the year.
Yeah. So that was a long answer, but that's probably, probably it.
No, it's a great answer.
Kev, I'm going to come right back at you.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Avalon Hill, SPI. Which one would you bring back? And what game would you want to see back?
SPI. And the first game I would bring back would be Mark Herman's Next War. I would like to see him fix that sucker, right? Or War on the Pacific and actually make that thing work because it's a huge monster that sucks. Sorry, guys.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
Is it really?
No, that's Pacific. No, that's VG. If Avalon Hill included Victory Games, then I'd probably say Victory Games because Victory Games has such a great library of amazing titles. So depending on what you mean. So SPI, but there's so many dogs in SPI, from there's so many just crappy games, right? But then there's just classic nostalgia classics. So I'd love to see someone just get started and just reprint the games as they are, clean things up a little bit, and don't try and fix it, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Mo, same question.
I agree with the idea of Next War, bringing that back, because that would be really cool to see come back, especially now with everything that has become really popular right now with World War III, the hypothetical World War III.
Yeah.
It is something that is, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way because I love hypothetical World War III. It's almost like zombies were for the hobby gaming side for a long time. Right. It was the thing. And right now it's World War III is the hot thing for everybody.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to stay that way for a couple of years. And I think mainly the reason that is because the age of the gamers now, people that are our age served at that time, and that would have been our war if that had happened. And now, thankfully it didn't happen, but now we can play it out on a tabletop, and see, and especially now we can go with better accurate data than we had at that time, because the Soviet threat briefs back then were, they're these big monstrous, dangerous guys. And now we're realizing that they weren't as dangerous as we thought. And granted, we weren't as effective as we thought either at times. And it is amazing because the entire 80s decade, you saw the rise and decline, the rise of NATO and the decline of the Warsaw Pact over that decade. And the later in the decade it went, the easier it would have been for NATO to win. So I think something like that would be great to revisit. And if we brought in back victory games, then I would have to add in Vietnam 65-75, which is still available on the secondary market, but see it updated would be kind of cool.
Right.
Nate Rogers. Just like Steve Rogers. Take us.
I'm gonna go with the collective SPI. I'm not gonna go with Next War though. I would have to go with War in Europe. That combination for the flat packs of War in the East and War in the West.
Mm-hmm. Good one.
Because for me, that's like always been one of my like grail games that I'd like to get if I ever got a chance to get it. And every time I've seen it, it's been like bid up. And I just haven't been able to spend that kind of money, not with a bunch of young kids running around on a game. So I would like to see them bring it back so I could actually, get a copy for under $1 billion.
Good one. Okay. Nate, I'm going to stay with you. Okay. If there is one thing that you could have changed in your channel, what would it have been?
I would have started it earlier. Like way, way earlier. I actually talked to the missus about this too. Because back when YouTube was first starting out, there weren't as many channels, were as many people to compete with. Mm-hmm. And if I had known then what I know now, the whole subscriber count thing that we talked about earlier, I could be running it, right? It could be hundreds of thousands, or I could be the name in Wargaming. Yeah. I'm just saying,
I could be Mr. YouTube.
At least 11 more than now.
I was telling her flat out I would take advantage of her back when she was 20 years old. Like, hey, get on screen with me. Wear that low cut shirt too.
I thought that was the whole point of getting married. You're supposed to take advantage of her, aren't you?
We're getting ready to have a baby.
What a corporate shill he would have turned out to be.
Weren't we talking about this before?
Oh my God.
No, look at it though. Like the guys that have been around longer than us all have the bigger channels to compete with. The guys that I got into wargaming watching, are the ones that have tens of thousands of subscribers, and they're hard to compete with. And it's because they have
not in wargaming that nobody has tens of thousands.
What are you watching, bro?
Marco, he was wargaming, but he has something Marco like 70.
Marco doesn't count, right? He's not a wargamer. I mean, he plays he presents war games and he plays Euro games, but he's not a wargamer, mate. And he's the only one other than Rob that I know that's got a substantial.
No, Players 8, they broke 10K, so they're doing good.
Okay.
So
I don't watch any of this. So.
Show me the tens of thousands.
Yeah, they can get hundreds, bro. It'll never happen.
What I'm saying is, like, I've also broached out and some into miniature gaming as well. And if I had been doing that 10 years ago, I would have a lot more videos up, a lot more games covered, stuff like that. So I just would have started earlier than I did into a less congested field.
Do you think you would suffer from burnout?
Well, for me, I mean, I kind of turned this into, my job because the whole being blown up thing took away the being able to drive and go to work thing. So I had to have something to fill my day. So for me, I go in my office, I work on games, I work on recording and editing. It gives me something to do, a way to be productive since I can't actually leave the house. I love it. And if I get burned out, all I have to do is stop.
Right. Let me just follow up on one thing. Has it taken the fun out of the games for you?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Do
you walk a line with it at times?
I have to make sure every now and then I cover something that I want to cover versus something I have to cover, right? Because I've hit that point where people are sending me stuff, and they're like, hey, could you cover this, or could you talk about this? And it's great. Like, hey, I know I'm succeeding because I've got companies that are actually reaching out to me, and I love that. Any companies that are watching, hey, it's in the description. Come check me out. But if I only covered what they wanted to,
We're done.
if I only covered just the stuff that they wanted me to cover, it would burn out really quickly. So that's why I have to throw in stuff that I want to cover at the time, right? You know, it still has to be fun to do instead of just a chore and just a job. I got to have enjoyment for my.
Kev, save a question.
I don't know what the question was.
If you had to do it all over again, what would be the one thing?
What would I do? You know, I don't think I would change anything. I started this on a lark. I do it for fun. I do it to play my games and share, and I don't really understand how it all kind of snowballed, right? Just things happen, right? So I like the way my channel is. I don't like feeling obligated to play stuff. So when folks send me things, I really appreciate it, but I try and let everybody know that it's on my timetable, not theirs. So if it's Kickstarter or something like that, you better get it to me really early and let me know so that I can do something with it if I can. But I've sent games back because it's like, this is not me. I can't. Your space game, sorry. Send it to I'll mail it to somebody for you, right? You know, because I want to be respectful of the designers and stuff. But no, I wouldn't change a thing. I love it just the way it is.
Mo, clean it up.
Well, I think the first thing I would do is I did written reviews I did video game reviews years ago on combatsim.com, and then I did reviews on another video game site. No, it was all just video games. And then I got into board game reviews, written reviews, because video was very difficult for me to do. I didn't even have a camera at the time. I had an older camera, and that's what I started with. And one thing I would definitely want to do differently, if I could, was maybe monetize early, get a couple $100, flip it into Bitcoin when it was only a couple $100, have all that money right now, and then I'd buy exactly. Then I'd buy a house with a better room that was like soundproofed and everything, so I can go in there and I can actually shoot video and not be interrupted by my wife or anything, and not interrupt her doing her stuff, and be able to put out more content, because that's the biggest obstacle for me, is being able to shoot quietly, you know, in a quiet area, and do it on a regular basis, because it's tough for me to do. So if I could, then I'd put out more video content and maybe give Nate a run for his money with his tens of hundreds of thousands of viewers.
You guys are so ambitious.
Yeah, look at you. Poor for children. Kevin's the only one with the right answer.
Well, no, hey, the right answer right there is getting in on Bitcoin when it was only a couple $100 or something. Now it's like over 50 grand of Bitcoin.
It's no. It's not shilling to want to do well, to want to succeed.
Okay. Let's change that. You guys want to do better.
It's shilling if you only put out positive reviews just because they sent you something or paid you something. And I've told every designer I won't say something positive unless I mean it. So if you send me something, I'm going to say what I honestly think about it.
Or you can do the old, I feel victimized today. Why don't you give me money to my Patreon?
And
my feeling got hurt. Please help.
And
by the way, when you guys go out to buy war games, please make sure that you get them from Miniature Market.
Yeah, there's the shill.
Why would that be, Rob?
Sponsor of Rob's Tabletop World. They have a big sale tomorrow. You're going to want to check out my video, by the way. Okay.
Nice.
That's shilling, bro. And not being shy about it.
No, I don't see anything wrong with pushing a company or store or something like that.
Oh, no.
That's what we're here for, to help them out.
Yeah, I push my local game store, Gamers Armory, all the time. I tell them, shop there.
Yeah, to get the plug in, right?
I think where it becomes a problem is, I've built a relationship with the people, and you guys have as well. Okay. As far as with the people that lock and load or whatever, whoever. Okay. And the same thing with my sponsor, because when he picked me up, I only had about 1,500 subscribers. So we grew together, and it became personal. Personal in the fact that we wanted to win, and we're winning now. Okay. So when I tell you I believe that miniature market's the best, I'm not saying it because, they're paying me millions and millions of dollars. I'm telling you it because I really believe it. And I don't believe that go ahead.
What they're doing works, because it's kind of like what David is doing, right? So when I go on their website,
it becomes personal.
I'm looking at a game that I'm interested. I scroll down a little bit and there's Rob's video. I'm like, okay, so if I want to see what this game looks like, I can click on it and see exactly what the hell I'm buying. I think that's an excellent idea. That's smart of them to do that.
The difference between a lot of these other guys is I'm not afraid to tell them, you want to know something? Here's the sale going on. You're not going to want to get this stuff in the sale. You're going to want to get this stuff because I really like this stuff. That's what I think.
That's cool.
Okay. And I have the freedom to do that because the minute, like a lot of, board gaming creators have become a joke, basically. Okay. It's about this, and it's not about the games anymore. It's far from it. Where you guys, I really believe, stay true to it. Okay. We talked about, another channel. They're about this.
Right.
And how far they can go. And they lose the sight of what the game is. Okay. How many of those things have you seen and you come away and you go, well, I didn't get anything from that.
Yeah.
I'll watch your video. I'll watch your video and I'll watch your video. I'll know exactly what I'm getting in the box. I'll understand how to play it. And if it's massive, I'm really going to stay and watch it and get a good feel for what I need to learn and how I can progress with it.
Right.
Okay. That's all here. And that's done out of passion, not out of this.
Right.
Now, listen, we all love money. Okay. That's how we take care of our lives, our families, buy things for our hobby and all that other stuff. Okay. But when you start going, well, this is a great game, you've got to get it, and you don't believe it, people are going to eventually figure it out.
Yeah.
Too true.
They're going to figure it out because you can only hawk so much crap.
Yeah, it only takes one time. One time, you take one time and shill for something that's bad, and people go buy it. And
You're done.
This is garbage. This is not what he said it was. They'll never trust you again.
Yeah, well, but you also have to remember if you shill for something bad, it's got to be like the game is totally broken out of the box, and we've seen games like that. We've all talked about games like that like the rules are just really bad. The game itself, it's unplayable. And you're sitting there going, this is a great game. It's a great system. I really love it. It's innovative. It's like, then you obviously didn't play the game. You kind of maybe scanned the rules, hit a couple phrases, threw that in your video as buzzwords and talked about it. And you're full of shit. You're not really saying anything real. And that's wrong, because at that point, like Nate just said, people are going to say, dude, you didn't even play that game. I'm not trusting you ever again, because there's a difference between that and this is a really great game. And then somebody else gets it and goes, I didn't like it. I mean, there's games that people love all the time. They say it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm sitting there going, it doesn't click for me. It doesn't do it for me.
I think people who watch us find that they like similar games to what we like. So they trust my opinion on X. They trust Nate's opinion on Y. They don't listen to Mo. That's just kind of how
Never listen to Mo.
Never listen to Mo.
I think people get accustomed to it and they can tell who's actually played the game and who just pulled it open, thumbed through, like Mo said, and then threw together a video. I think they can tell rather quickly who's falling in what category.
Yes.
And there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them out there. And then you see these guys that really put a lot of time into it. And it's such a weird business. Okay. And I know I'm getting off subject a little bit, but it's a weird business because, I've seen people do certain war games where they have taken it from point A all the way to the very end, but they got the personality of a rock. Okay.
Right.
And nobody can relate to it. So there has to be this incredible balance to be able to do this.
Yeah.
It's not for the weak of heart, because you are going to get kicked in the.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shoot.
You're going to get kicked, and people are just not going to like you because they don't like the way you look.
Yeah.
Hey man, I resemble that remark.
Yeah. No, I think there is a fine line, and you kind of you got to get up there, have a go at it, see how it goes for you, and if it doesn't work out and you don't like what you're doing, then stop. Right? There's no. But if you like what you're doing and you don't care what everyone's saying, then carry on. I didn't. I cared when I first started, and then I realized that most people weren't, very nice, and so I just did my stuff and waited for the nice people to turn up. And now there's 4 of them here, and you 3 guys, and we're good. So there's that, right? But just to do one little quick shill, I am starting a series of interviews with YouTubers that have under 1,000 subscribers. So I'm going to do a live stream with these guys and chat to them. Why are you doing this? Who are you? What's going on? And all that sort of fun stuff. Because I think that's my way of trying to give back a little bit to promote those guys and get their voice heard. And then if they're as thick as a rock or dumb as a rock, we can ignore them. Or if they're awesome, then we can subscribe to them, right?
Because there's a lot of hidden talent, and I've done some things like that, and I've really pushed a lot of channels that I really believed in, because I believed that they were doing it from their heart, not for the dollar. I left the situation because it was all about the dollar, which, Kevin, you kind of worked right into our next thing. If you had to give one piece of advice to somebody, a new creator, what would it be?
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I finally got him to stop
I'm
talking.
really trying to work and try to show that you guys may have some talent here.
Oh God, that's so funny. Shit. I think that the best thing to do is, if you're passionate about it and you enjoy it, then get after it and have fun. But if you're treating it, if it's too much like a job and you're expecting to make a lot of money out of this, you're probably not going to. And for God's sake, don't overinvest in equipment and lights and technology until you know what the hell you're doing. No, you can do it, Rob. You have investors and bankroll. Like I don't
make money. I pose for money, mother.
That's it. That is a true statement right there, Tony.
Mo's got a great face for radio.
I do.
Oh God, that's perfect. Anyway, that's my advice right there. Do it if you love it. Otherwise, shut up and let the rest of us have the subs.
Mo, same question.
What was the question?
Why am I here?
Advice.
This is why we're awesome.
No,
they asked me to come out here to bring a little life to the show, and
the advice I would give to anyone who's a new YouTuber is the same thing I would give to a new wargamer. I honestly give the same thing to a new wargamer. If you enjoy it, do it, and don't let anybody hold you back ever. And if you're not sure what to do, ask questions.
Yeah.
None of us are big, hoity-toity. Well, most of us are not. There may be a couple, but I can't talk to for everybody. But anybody is willing to help you out. Pretty much, The wargaming community is one of the most welcoming communities I've ever been in. If you have a question and it's a legit question, obviously you have to time it right. You can't be at a convention when someone's in the middle of a big move and they're figuring odds and they got giant killer stacks. You don't go, hey, how do you play this game? It's not going to work. But if you ask them an honest question, say, hey, what's a good game for me to get started? What do you think I should get? What do you think I should do for YouTube? People are going to sit down and they're going to give you every bit of advice that they can give you from their own mistakes and their own successes. They're going to try to save you time by saying, hey, don't do this because I did it and it wasted so much of my time. I spent money on this garbage and it's, bad camera, bad equipment, whatever. Get this instead. Save yourself some money. Go do this. Talk to this publisher. Talk to that publisher. Things like that. Watch these YouTube channels and see what they do. And kind of get a sense of that and see if you can get on some other YouTube channels and talk to people and expose yourself, because that's one of the things we do Whiskey Charlie for, is to expose people to different publishers, designers, and content creators, because we want everybody to succeed, because when everyone succeeds, we all succeed. It's just more fun for everyone.
Mo,
yes.
We're going to go to Nate now.
I would say to take things slowly and not get a big head about it. And what I mean by that is I've talked to some people before who've had the idea that you get into it and then all of a sudden people start sending you stuff. So I'd say don't get too eager. Kind of do your own thing for a little while, and then once you hit a point, you'll start finding that people will reach out to you, that companies will start reaching out to you. If you're covering stuff in a certain way that people like, you'll get responses. Pay attention to the criticism, the useful criticism, because it's the internet, so some people are just jackasses. But if you get useful criticism like lighting or sound or cover this in this way, or we don't like it when you do X, or we do like it when you do Y, pay attention to that stuff and kind of steer yourself accordingly as you kind of grow your channel. Take it slow and let it grow naturally, rather than trying to force things to happen, because people can tell, I think, that difference. I made that mistake when I first started. I tried to jam it as hard as I could, and
You put your special
made a
voice
few
on?
mistakes. What's that?
You put your special voice on? Hello and welcome to Nate.
Hello and welcome
Yes.
to Whiskey Charlie.
Welcome, Whiskey Charlie, Gimpy Gamer, coming at you
Grew my
live.
special beard for it.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Gimp with the Limpets, Nate Rogers.
I am not that bad.
No, I'm just goofing.
No.
Yeah, that would be my voice.
Just to close this out, the best thing I can ever say is never go on another guy's stream and start saying, "Hey, I started a YouTube channel. You guys need to come over to," and disrupt somebody. Nothing gets under my skin more than that.
Did
If
you have
you want
people
help-
do that?
Oh, all the time. And then
Really?
I'll stop the stream and I'll say, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot." Okay. Because I can never do that. I even hate, like there's a couple people that go live and I'll watch them and I won't say anything. And if I say something or I ask a question, all of a sudden people go, "Oh, it's Rob." And it's taken away from the guy that's busting his back end
Right.
from doing what he's trying to do. And I hate, and I'm not there to try to get people to come over my channel. All I want to do is watch and absorb something and go, "Oh, hey, that game looks really interesting. I'd love to check that out," that kind of thing. And it's a big thing. If they want help, send me an email. I'll have you come in and I'll be more than happy to help you if you're a good person. Is
okay,
the
never
mighty
mind.
Kabuki here?
I
I
was
took over this
wondering-
channel. You don't go saying hi to Mo first.
I was wondering if I was being called Gumpy at first on purpose, or if that was a mistype.
Gumpy. Who called you Gumpy?
Kabuki.
Gumpy.
She said, "Hey, Kevin Gumpy." Hi, all. And then she went, "Gimpy, too."
Gumby. All right. Here's one that might stir a little emotion from some of our audience. Grognards, whatever the hell you call yourselves. Okay. Do you think they help or hurt the hobby?
They are the hobby. Grognards.
Okay.
I mean, wargamers are considered grognards.
Okay.
And I think everybody who's a wargamer kind of wears that title with pride. It's just the slang term that we all use for ourselves and everybody
Okay.
uses for us.
Okay. So the hardcore grognard is at a convention. Okay.
Mhm.
You got a bunch of new kids. I've seen this happen numerous times. Okay. And I've seen where, they decide to run a table. If you don't understand this game, just get the hell out of here.
That's
from the simplest of miniature games. And I find that when I run into them, and I'm going to give you guys examples, and then I want everybody's opinion of this. Okay. People for 40 years have said that this this type of gaming is dying. It's the biggest lie in the world. Okay, and that it's all going to die out with the last of whoever. But you got new people, and here you are in the golden age of board gaming right now. There is no time where things are produced better.
Mhm.
There is no time where there are more games that you can get your hands on. And, back in the 70s, and Kevin will attest to this instead of you two youngins up there. I'm kidding, all right? Hey, all right. But anyways, there were a lot of games produced in the 70s, okay? But the quality and the amount and the companies that are out there now today, there's never been more war games made. Mm-hmm. So you should be embracing these people. I don't find that the true hardcore grognards do that. And I think they heard it. For a majority of them heard it. So, and that's why I'm asking this question. Yeah. So again, I want you to go around the table, and I want to get your opinion of what I just said.
Go ahead.
Who wants to start?
Go to Mo first.
Okay, I'll start. I think. Well, first off, I'm going to start out with what Herman said. He said, "Elitist, grumpy, antisocial grognards are the problem. Unfortunately, there are plenty of them still around." I would not say there are plenty. One is too many. That would be plenty. There are people like that, and I ran into them in BattleTech a lot. There are like the rules lawyer types that instead of teaching,
I'll come back to that BattleTech thing because I'm going to give you a great example of that.
These people live and breathe and just sleep this damn game. They know the rules, and instead of embracing you and saying, "Hey, I've got this mech or I've got this tank out there, and it's got this weapon on it, and it's capable of doing this much damage. Do you really want to go up against that?" Instead of trying to teach you, they just go, and they'll watch this. I'm going to crush you. Yeah, I won. It's like, yeah, you won. What did you win? You don't win any money. You don't win any respect. And that's the most important thing is you don't win respect. And if you don't win people's respect, no one's going to want to deal with you. No one's going to want to play with you. And you are doing more of a disservice to your hobby than you are a service. And the people that do, like you say, like, you better know the game at my table. It's like, well, jackass, get the hell out of this convention because this is not a competition here. Go over to the competitive hall if you want to be like that. This is supposed to be about bringing people into, not pushing them away from the hobby. And those are the type of people that I would definitely not waste any time going up to them and saying, chill out or just leave. Just don't have time for that here in the hobby.
Go ahead, Nate.
Okay, I'll jump in. I get what you're saying, right? The grognard thing. But I think the type of person you're talking about exists in every gaming forum. Okay. And you're seeing them in elitist war gamers, and that's fine. But as an example, this is an experience I had with X-Wing. I even made a video talking about this called "Don't Be That Guy," right? And there are two guys I can think of specifically off the top of my head. One guy no one liked to play with at my local store because he was a very sore loser and didn't welcome in the new people, wouldn't help them to learn the game, wouldn't be kind and sociable. He was the type that would, if a new player was there with his starter ships, instead of kind of taking it easy and walking them through, letting them learn from some mistakes, he would go out of his way to crush them just so he could feel like he won. And the time he was beat by a young kid who was like 9 or 10 at the time, it was in a tournament. Dude gets beat and he packs up his stuff and just goes home. He's like, all right, I'm done. And I had another guy that pulled this crap, and I was actually playing him at a tournament, real big tournament, the Crate Cup that they have. God, I love that tournament. The guys did a great job. And I was playing this gentleman, and he flew right into a trap, playing a couple of thermal mines, and he flew his ace pilot right into it. And he got so mad, he took his plastic template and smashed it into the table, and it goes flying. And I'm like, dude, really? Like, do I have to get a TO over here to rule on this because you're being a dick? And I stomp him at that point, but he had pretty much given up on the match. But he had that just dick elitist attitude, like, I can't believe this guy, beat me. Well, this guy made a channel and talked about you being an asshole, so Welcome to YouTube. I think you're going to run into these people no matter the game, right? So I don't think that these people are keeping anyone out of wargaming. These people are going to keep people out of RPGs, out of tabletop games, out of any game.
Mm-hmm.
They just exist.
Okay, and I'll come back to that, but I want to hear what Kevin has to say as well. I
don't have too much to say about it. I think there's gatekeepers in every group, but the word gatekeeper is being overused in our hobby right now, and it's being used to pander to others. So everyone I know wants to get more war gamers in and more historical gamers in and more conflict simulation gamers in. And we all do what we can to try and reel those folks in to play games. But if we pretend that there are these artificial barriers, I think we're making a mistake. So I think the grog, the cranky grognard is a thing, but we just got to call them out. If someone's been a dick, I'll tell them. It's all good, whether it's digital or face to face. Don't be a dick. Be kind. Right? Let's try and get people in, not out.
Yeah,
exactly. And listen, I've seen it in in my entire thing. The BattleTech thing. I'm going to come back to that. You remember Mech Warrior, the Click one?
Yeah. Okay. ClickTech. Yeah.
Well, back in the day, WizKids had asked me, because I was up in Connecticut, as a matter of fact, and there was a convention, and I was running a little event for kids. It's kind of like a starter thing to get them into, you start here and then you can work your way to BattleTech. Some kid comes walking by and started calling the thing an abomination because he was going over to play in some BattleTech competition. And here you got, 7-8-year-old kids, and you're calling a game an abomination. I mean, how stupid is that? I like to say that the snow that day turned a little red.
Nice.
But I can't really say that, can I? Because it's family hour. Another situation, Magic. Perfect thing.
Oh.
That is the most cutthroat thing in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. But never have I've been to many, many, many conventions. Okay. And I've seen more than anything, the older guy, when you got these younger kids that are just fascinated by every kid loves tanks. Okay. Every kid loves tanks starting off. And if you can't embrace these kids and bring them in, and every convention, there's 3 or 4 of them where I might have, like I just mentioned, just 2 events. I've had events, but not as much as I've had in the wargaming community. It's almost like it's an indie band, and they start to get a little popular, and they don't. Wait a minute, you can't like this band. This is my band. Oh wait, they got a hit song. I don't want. No, that's not the same band I went and I saw at this little bar. Now they're playing stadiums. Well,
I mean, what I was going to say is when you're like that, like you were saying about kids, loving tanks, if you were running an event at some, convention or a local demo or something like that, and kids want to come up, the first thing you need to do is set them up to succeed. You throw the situation, you put yourself into an impossible win situation, let them blow you up, let them walk away with a tank, you give them something, and they remember that. They'll remember that 5, 10, 20 years later, and they'll say, that's the guy who got me into war games.
And now, in fairness, I've also seen that too. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of good wargaming people. Okay. They're out there. I'm looking at 3 of them right now.
Well, when I was 15 or 16, I painted up some little Airfix Napoleonic minis, and I proudly took them over to I found a club, I guess it was in the phone book or on a newsletter or something. Roll in there, walk in there, got my little French guard or whatever they were, line fellas, and I said, "So can I play?" And they let that wrong uniforms, wrong shit, get out. Come back when you get it right. Haven't touched a mini since. That was 4,000 years ago.
Rob, do you notice more of that? Have you seen more of that elitist attitude in wargaming versus other types?
Yeah,
because I haven't seen it.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, that's curious. I haven't seen it in board wargaming.
I've been to small conventions, small wargaming conventions, where whether it's a younger kid or it's someone in their 30s, early 40s that was brave enough to come to this foreign thing and were fascinated by it, just be completely shunned. A lot of these people call themselves garrisons. Okay, we have a garrison here, and I doubt they'll ever see this. It's the Ocala garrison. All right, the guy that runs it, pretty nice guy. I went and played, and to kind of play with them a bit, and this is going back about nine years ago or so, and the personalities were so. The games were so personal and things like that. And I'm like, what the hell? That eventually I just never went back. And then we have a Jacksonville garrison, which was kind of almost like the same thing. They form these little groups. Yeah. And they just want to drink beer and play games, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not. When people come up in these conventions and, they all got the same shirts on to represent whatever they are, and people want to learn. Why are you running a game if you're not going to teach somebody the
Exactly.
game?
Exactly. That's just really odd to me. I'll be there's a game store in town. I'm sorry. I'll just real quick.
No,
there's
go
a
ahead.
game store in town. And my buddy and I will be playing, and folks will come over and go, well, what is this? And we'll say, well, pull up a chair and we'll tell you all about it, right? I mean,
right.
How hard is that? And after a while, they get up and leave because they realize you're trying to do your thing. So but you've at least introduced them to something. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And you can always say if you start getting the interest of the person, like if it's a couple, a guy and his wife are there and they're sitting down and the wife is sitting there going, yeah, this isn't my thing, which generally is the case in my experience. But they'll say, you know what, I'm going to go look around. Why don't you sit here, honey, and watch? And because the husband might be digging it, and then you say, yeah, this is pretty cool. Like, wow, this thing is really cool. Yep. You can get it right over there. It's right on that shelf right there. We're here every Saturday. Feel free to stop on by anytime if you want to exchange numbers or something like that, and we'll let you know, or meet us on Facebook in our group or whatever, because everyone wants to recruit more people in, because no one wants to push people away, because the more people you bring in, the more people you can play with. And why wouldn't you want to do that? It just seems, silly. Now,
well, especially when they're noobs, you can beat them.
But the other thing too is, when it comes to the gaming overall, having been on both sides, I walked away from the hobby gaming side altogether. I used to just stay with war games was my thing, but hobby gaming has become so toxic. I don't want anything to do with it anymore. It's very cliquish and elitist, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. And wargaming is the complete opposite, which is fantastic.
The number one rule of my channel is, we're just going to put we're no cult of the new. Okay, I'm not going to play anything new just to put it up there and try to race anybody. And like Kev, I agree with you, Kev, 100%. I'm going to play what I want to play. It may not be what everybody else wants to see,
right?
But I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to have a good time. Why? I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. Because if I'm not enjoying myself, guess what? You're going to see that on camera. And you're going to go, why am I watching this? This isn't fun at all. One Pip Wonder, another great smaller channel. You should get her on the channel. What an amazing girl this is, by the way. But I want to reach back, because at one point, listen, I always loved war games, and it was always Dungeons and Dragons and other things as well. What really set me and really made a difference was probably one of the greatest grognards of all time. Okay, you guys remember the GDW games, the Europa series.
Sure.
Okay. There was a guy in Connecticut. He was out of Manchester, and the name of his store was Fathers and Sons. I'm going to tell you a little story. I went in there and I would get some of my Warhammer stuff and things there, but he used to write Gary Stagnetto. I don't know if you guys heard of him. He used to write for Europa magazine, and he was one of the big key influences on Europa. And if you know anything about Europa, everybody's always wondering why Grand Europa never came, because all these games were supposed to make one giant game that probably would take up this entire studio if you laid out all the maps. Okay, it was just monsters, and it's such a complicated game. He took the time and would take little battles to show me, because you like war games? I go, yeah, but I'm not a really big war gamer. And he got me to get the bug because he took the time in the middle of his store to sit there and explain everything to me. And I would go there and get lessons on how to play this game. I still have that collection. I will never part with it because it means so much to me.
That's cool.
The thing is, I went there to do another lesson because we were just getting into Second Front, which had just came out. And I was leaving the store. His son had just came in, and he started playing with his son. And he just had this little battle, little group versus, and the map was monsters, but he's just taking like this little part of Sicily, this little battle with his son. His son had to be about 6, 7, and he's teaching his kid to be like him. I looked back as I was walking out. I walked across the street. I remember it was snowing, and I had to get home. I lived about an hour from there. And I saw him playing his son, and I went home. Fathers and Sons, right? That was the last time I saw him. He died of a massive heart attack that very next day. And I will always remember him for taking the time and the passion that he had for wargaming. And that always stuck with me. And I said, you know something? In this business, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to take the time, whether I get it wrong or right, to open up my room here. This is why I do a lot of this. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to think of him every once in a while. And I'm going to show off these things. And I'm going to, hopefully I inspire somebody to play one of these things. What more could you want in life?
Yep.
I think that some of us might almost have a little bit of a biased experience from what you're talking about, Rob. Because when I got involved with this, right, I'm coming at it from a different angle because of the channel, and a lot of people knew who I was. So if I was asking to sit down and have someone explain something to me, they might have been more willing because of the channel, the camera.
Because you're a big deal.
Yeah. So, well, small deal. But,
Yeah. Mic drop.
but you get what I'm saying. Like, I never had that experience when I first got started of anyone saying, no, I'm not going to take the time to teach you, or I don't want to tell you about this game. Whoever I asked, they were more than welcoming. So that's been my experience. Everyone was welcoming when it came to wargaming. I just never ran into the elitism of, yeah, I don't have time for you.
I really think it's a problem. To some degree, you don't have that problem now because of everything going on in the world. We're not going to say what it is, but with everything going on, you've had to learn to do this yourself, or possibly have somebody that you can trust to come. Me, I live out with alligators, snakes, swamp, and me, and a bunch of games. That's it. So
they have houses now, right? You don't have to live with the alligators and the snakes anymore in the swamp.
What's that?
They have houses now. You can live in one of those instead of living in the swamp with the
bro, I'm
alligators and
hardcore.
snakes.
I'm Army. I'm hardcore. There we go. Okay, here comes the gratuitous Marine moment. Go ahead. And now.
I mean, I can just say aren't really Marines yet if it'll make you feel better.
You're always a Marine. If you're ever a Marine, you're always a Marine. You're just not an active Marine. And
we made the old man lose his train of thought.
Yeah, no. What I was
It's Army
about,
for you.
what I'm saying is that there is a well, I am old. Okay, I die a little bit every second.
We all do.
It's true. But solo gaming is a lot more prevalent right now, and all three of us here, one of our big things is that we show things off without any other people. Once in a while I'll have my son if I can, but hey, watch the Army jams. Whoa. I am Army, buddy. I still am. So
he was talking about my jab.
Oh, feed him some crayons.
I knew it was going to take him a sec to get it.
Crayola, baby. Fresh.
Like I said, we're very much solo. We have to be solo gamers because basically we're talking into a camera. We're showing things off. We're constantly learning how to do things and shut one side of our brain off and play another side of a two-player game a lot of times. So, it's
well, you can tell. You can tell solo has exploded, especially if you look at Kickstarter, because almost every Kickstarter now has solo rules, or the solo rules are part of the stretch goals, whatever it is. Almost all of them now say 1 to 5, 1 to 4, 1 to 6, whatever amount of players. You don't see too many now that say 2 and up when it comes to the players. Well, especially within the last year.
We go one further. The Arcadia Quest, which isn't a war game, but it was a game that was a PvP game. They came out, Cool Mini or not, come out with solo rules that just try to keep things, people are now implementing solo rules.
Yeah, but we're not inventing them
ourselves. Huh?
You can't get that game.
Yes, you can. You can go over to the miniature market right now. They're having a huge sale, 70% off.
The expansions or like the base pack? I thought like the starter pack was like
they had base packs and everything.
You're sharing your commission on all these sales that come off this, right?
The only commission and joy I get is watching certain people burn. Burn, baby, burn. Army guy shutting off one side of his brain. There's a joke there somewhere. Trevor, my brother. Army, Navy, Marines, you all look the same from 3,000 feet.
I guess
are you telling me that's an Air Force guy?
It's the Chair Force.
Air Force.
He's probably got a silk jumpsuit. So no doubt.
Oh yeah.
Maybe he's Space Force.
Is he going to take off his shirt and play volleyball with a bunch of guys? Jeez.
Come on, the Air Force gets all those amenities like housing and air conditioning and food, stuff the Marines don't get.
Well, I mean, it's really easy to run from a fight in a plane.
True story.
Air Force.
Are we done yet?
Oh, by the way, my laundry's due.
You're making me tired.
They should be dropping it off.
What's dropping off?
The Air Force usually drops off my laundry. I like the nice crease.
Kev's like, I don't know where I can throw a joke in here.
Oh, geez. Where are we at? Hour and a half?
Yeah, we got time.
All right, I'm going to give you back your show. I do have one last question I think I'm going to throw in.
Saves the best for last.
Okay. I'm going to ask you guys.
Herman Luttman.
Exactly. Bingo. Ding, 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 ding. By the way, have you seen his latest offering in magnificent style? The redo of it?
Redo, yeah. How beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely gorgeous.
Just got it in.
Oh, I'm completely and out of all his games, that's the one game I never played.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
That's the one game I never played. And everybody kept on going, hey, Crowbar's like in magnificent style. I'm like, okay. It didn't register. So this comes out. I take a look at it. I love that game.
Nice.
Absolutely love the game.
That's
really,
awesome.
really enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
I'm hoping to get a free copy soon, Herman.
Herman, I mean, jeez. It's Kevin. Come on now. Jeez. Worthington.
All right.
Oh, now here he goes. Now he's pumping it up. Worthington did a wonderful job. Thanks. No, it's something special, and I really suggest that you guys pick that up either at Worthington Publishing, or you can check it out. It's coming soon to Miniature Market, with the lowest prices out there.
I'm phasing out of
All
existence.
right, in all seriousness,
Oh,
I'm going to
that's
start
great.
with you, Nate. Of all the war games, what is your favorite period?
The favorite game that I've ever played.
No, period.
Period.
That's
Ancients,
like
World War II, World War One.
Oh,
Okay.
time frame.
Period.
he's a Marine, dude.
What time
I'm sorry, but
period?
hang
I get it now. Thank you. I had
Hello. Thank God your wife's on that channel. The IQ went up to about 7, at least 175 now.
I would have to say, oh God, it sounds so cliche, but either, God, I'm gonna lean towards Ancients just because I like the whole sword and shield and galleys and all the other crap, just to be a little different. But World War II is my main focus, just because there's so much. It's inundated everywhere. But the one that I've always enjoyed is like the Great Battles of History series, GMT, Alexander and the Hoplites. I've always wanted to get their game, Galley, I think is the name of it. I haven't been able to find that one at a decent price. I had a chance to get it for like $40 once and missed it. And that really drove me nuts. But yeah, that the time period when war involved like really getting stuck in, like sticking the metal into the other guy, just fascinates me. I like that time period for some reason.
That detail.
Wow. Thanks for bringing that. Have you ever
combat?
Let me ask you
a distance.
Let me ask you a quick follow-up question with that, especially pertaining to Ancients. Have you ever played DBA? Debellis? No. It's a miniature game. It's almost like you could play it on like a 1 foot square of felt, and what you have is, I believe it's 11 elements. So you pick a time period. Like if you could have Romans versus Carthaginians, or Romans versus whatever you want to do, Persians or this.
Oh, wow.
Or that.
Spartans, definitely Spartans.
Yeah, you could have them face the Spartans, and it's 15 mil. So you have each element. You'll have spearmen, you'll have swordsmen, and there's tournaments of it. Check it out. It's something you'll be very fascinated in.
It's called DBA.
DBA.
Yeah.
All right, I'll definitely have to.
You know what I'm talking about, right, Kev?
Yeah. So actually, Nate, a couple of viewers have sent me copies of rules, and I have multiple copies. So why don't I send you a copy of the rules, and then you can work out if you want to grab the minis and check it out.
Is there a set of minis specific for the game?
You go to Old Foundry or whatever. It's very inexpensive to each army. I think $12 or something like that.
Oh wow!
And you bring in whatever armies you like. You put them on. I think it's 1 inch by 1.5 inch bases, and you paint them up.
Yep.
And then you just have this. There's tournaments at conventions. It's really this. It's a big thing, but it's a very cult type of thing.
It sounds kind of like a Ancients version of X-Wing or something like that. Like your little squad. Your team.
Nah, it's a lot more strategic. I would compare it more to chess than I would.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Kev?
Yeah, I have a small set of figures, and I've read the rules. I've goofed with it a bit, but I haven't really played. So it's like a Great Battles of History battle, Nate, is what you're playing. Same sort of scale, but just but shrunk down. So you can do a 1 foot by 1 foot, 2 foot by 2 foot, and each stand is X number of men depending on what you're doing, right?
Right. Exactly.
No, that sounds like something that'd be right up my alley. I've never heard about it.
It's a 50-year. Joe just said it's a 50-year-old system. It's glorious.
Well, it definitely has longevity.
Nate, I'll send you a copy of the rules, bud.
Easy to learn.
No, I
fun.
appreciate it, Kev.
It's something that would really be great on your channel. You would love it.
Yeah.
The Bellis Antiquitas. Yep. See, even Herman knows.
Yeah,
So
I'll
now
definitely
it's
have to check that out.
definitely huge. Same question, Kev.
Yeah,
Favorite time period.
Yeah, so I'm torn between ancient and hypothetical modern. So I'm a bit of a hoe for everything, but probably leaning lately towards anything modern, anything post post World War II. You know, so I'm all over that.
Mo, bring it home.
World War II obviously is really popular for me. World War II, it has to be East Front and Pacific. Pacific needs to be tactical, but preferably even better than that. I like modern. More modern, the better. And I don't have any problem with playing anything that's present day, even could be ongoing. It doesn't bother me because I just look at it as it's a game. I'm here to learn about what's going on. And, I don't need to have any separation from it. I know some people do, and I respect that. But me, I just like to see the what ifs, and that could be hypothetical, like Next War series we were talking about before, things that haven't happened but could, or stuff that is happening currently or has recently happened. Really is what interests me the most.
One last question I'm going to give you guys. What game are you guys most looking forward to that's coming out this year?
Wow.
Nate, start us off, big fella.
Damn. Hold up, you have to come back to me because I'm having a brain fart and I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Mo.
Good one.
Take
NATO,
Come
Cold
here,
War goes hot. NATO, the Cold War goes hot is the one I'm most looking forward to this year, and coming out next month.
All right, there we go. Kev.
I have two because I can't.
No, that's all right. We'll take them.
Okay, so Third Winter OCS.
Ooh.
Monster big ass East Front. You gotta be excited about that action, right? And then obviously, well, actually, maybe three. Storm, the next World at War 85, which I think might get out later this year if things go well. And now I just had a brain fart. Oh, Air and Armor from Compass Games, Bruce Maxwell, who, by the way, I'll be interviewing Friday evening.
See, that's what I like. That's what I like. Get it in there, Kev. Get it in there. Big
Nice.
fella. All right.
I remember the name, by the way.
Oh, go ahead.
It is Core Space, my favorite miniatures game. The Kickstarter, the newest Alien one.
Okay.
That's definitely top of my list because I think the Core Space system is so ingenious. You can use it with anything else. There's the rules on BGG where you can incorporate the miniatures from Nemesis to have like an alien type game, or you can even use the aliens from Aliens in it. So yeah, love that game system. And then of course the Thunder in the East sequel.
Are you guys excited about Twilight 2000?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Definitely.
We're going to have to do a live play one night.
I want to get my RPG on. I haven't done RPG in 20 something years.
Listen,
I still have the
I got
Aliens
27 cameras here.
Yeah.
We can pull it off.
We need to do that with Aliens. Aliens RPG and Twilight 2000. They both are from Free League Publishing.
Yeah. Let's do it. I would love to do that.
All right.
I'm down.
Listen, I have taken over this channel long enough. I brought enough class to this, and we actually have people watching this stuff.
Yeah, we've had more than 4. This is awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
All it took was a big fella to come in, bring a little clout to the story. Okay. Now, Mo, I hope you learned something on how to host a show.
Thank you so much. I really did.
I was glad to come here and teach you a little bit. What I do want to say, though, is I want to thank our 3 unbelievable guests. All right. The mighty and fantastic Nate Rogers. What more can you say about a man like that? Kev, big heart, big brain. That's all I can say. You're fantastic. We love you. Mo, jeez.
Big mouth.
Mo, the only thing I can say is your wife called and she told me, can you please get some conventions going so I could get him out of the house?
Perfect.
That would be great.
And your humble host, the mighty Rob Oren, the Rob's Tabletop World, War and Pieces, and many other exciting things that he never knows what he's going to do from one day to another. But he is sponsored by Miniature Market.
Gotta get that last shilling.
I was waiting
I
for
got to
it.
get that last shilling. Listen, I want to thank everybody for having me on here. If you ever don't want me ever to come again, don't invite me. It would be the best thing for you. But
We'll be
it's always a
talking
great
about that
time.
later.
It's always great to see all of you guys. And I'm going to give you back your show. I will see you guys soon. I talked to you personally, most of you, so we will talk soon. But I've actually got to do some work business, the real work that we can't talk about. So until next time, I will see you all soon. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. And you guys have been fantastic and very gracious. Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Thanks,
on,
Rob.
Rob.
All right, guys. Catch you later. If I can find
Take
out
it
how
easy.
to get off.
X.
You know what that means.
Now we can
Rob's
talk
gonna
about
go
him.
hurt his wrist. Got to get that real work in.
Oh man, that was fun. That was fun. But yeah, we'll close it out here ourselves for the evening too. Really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight and enjoying our guest host tonight, Rob Oren from Rob's Tabletop World and also Miniature Market. Make sure you buy your games from Miniature Market.
Back from those guys.
We're like shilling everywhere tonight, just having fun with it.
God.
And that was,
You know
it
what-
was a good one. It was a good
Let's
show.
not invite him back. He made me nervous.
The next time we do a show, if he's on with us, I got to get a sign to put behind me that says like Cool Stuff Inc. on it or something like that, just to
Oh,
mess with him.
Oh,
That would be-
Rob loves Cool Stuff Inc.
Oh man, that would be funny though. But no, it was good stuff. And Miniature Market are good people. They have good deals, and so does NWS, which somebody else had mentioned during the show, and Cool Stuff and Gamers
Yeah,
Armory.
it's
And
nice to see him back because he got he shut down for a little while and then came back.
yeah, no, it's great to see them back. And main thing is support anybody you can, whether it's your local game store, your online game store, or if it's the publisher direct. Make sure you support them. And somebody had said earlier to let them know, and I do appreciate that, and I agree with that. If you purchase a game that you kind of got the interest on from a content creator, mention the content creator's name, because that is not a bad idea. I'll let them know that, hey, I saw it on Nate's channel, I saw it on Kev's channel, I saw it on Mo's channel, whatever, and that's what got me to buy this. I think that would be kind of neat too. So that way they know that, hey, we're out here supporting them, and they can see a direct result of the videos that are put out, and the information we're putting forth to people. They can
that's pretty cool.
hopefully get interested in buying games. So
Good
I
idea.
actually had a Kickstarter one time contact me, and they're like, yeah, some of your subscribers asked us to send you a copy of the game because they want to see you cover it. So if you'll send us your address, we'll send it to you. And I'm like, sweet, sounds good.
That's nice.
very
and now
cool.
I'm like, okay, I got to create a few more fake email addresses so I can contact these Kickstarter companies. They have given me a good idea.
That's great.
So there you go. Rob is an undercover cop teaching kindergarten.
Why does that just sound wrong?
That does. sound
Well,
right.
it's like kindergarten cop. Remember
Nice.
with Schwarzenegger?
Arnold, it's not a tumor.
Exactly.
Not a tumor. All right, gentlemen.
But yeah, we'll call it a night here, guys. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. And obviously, always appreciate our co-hosts here tonight, Nate and Kev, as well as Rob, who is the host tonight, having a little bit of fun and turning the tables and interviewing us instead of having us interview somebody else. But we'll see you guys on the next one. And sorry it was late this month, but weather, no power, things like that kind of threw everything off last week.
Exactly.
So hopefully we won't have what we see behind Kevin right now. Hopefully we won't see that anymore. No more lost power in Texas. All right, everybody have a great night, and we will see you on the next episode. Good night.